And as I was building Greenpal, I started to see like, wow, if I knew everything that I was learning now in my last company, I could have had a company that was twice as profitable with half the people, because I started seeing ways that you can implement technology in any business, because basically we were building the technology to make the lawn mowing business run smooth. And so a homeowner is able to come onto our app, put their address in, and order lawn mowing services from a reliable lawn care contractor.
Hello, Profit First entrepreneurs and thought leaders. I am so excited. We have a special guest with us today. His name is Brian Clayton, and Brian Clayton is the CEO and co-founder of a company called Greenpal, which is an online marketplace that connects homeowners with local lawn care professionals. And he likes to refer to Greenpal as being something like the Uber for lawn care. And it was listed in Entrepreneurs Magazine and has over 200,000 active users that are literally completing thousands of transactions per day. Now, before Brian started Greenpal, he was the founder of Peachtree Inc., which is one of the largest landscaping companies in the state of Tennessee, and grew it actually over 10 million in revenue before it was acquired by Lusa Holdings. Today, I'm really excited to have Brian talk to us because, he has expertise in entrepreneurism, small business growth, marketing, and bootstrapping businesses from zero revenue to profitability, and then, of course, the exit strategy. And one of the conversations that I'm really interested in having with Brian is, I hear from you guys that, this is the market of opportunity, meaning that you guys are getting more sales than you ever imagined, but we don't have people to do the work, right? And I love Brian's philosophy of how he really started to think, more like a technology company, and how to get your business to think like that so that it requires less use of people and more efficient process. So please join me in welcoming Brian Clayton to the platform. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me on your show, Susanne.
Thank you. So we're excited. So first of all, tell us about that transition, of having pretty much a brick and mortar, right? Where people went out and took care of people's lawns to really a technology company. What made you do that? And how did this thought get started?
Yeah. So to your point, I had started mowing grass in high school. I started a low lawn mowing business as a way to make extra cash. I was actually forced into the business by my dad. He made me go mow my first yard. He said, "Get off your butt. You got a job to do. You're going to go cut the neighbor's grass." And luckily he did that, because this just stuck with me. I thought, man, this is great. I can cut yards and make $20 an hour. I'm just going to keep doing this. And I built like one of the largest landscaping companies in the state of Tennessee over a 15-year period of time. My team and I built a company that was doing over 10 million a year in revenue, had around 150 employees. And in 2013, that business was acquired by one of the largest landscaping companies in the United States. And so growing that business from just me and a push mower to me and like 150 people, like 90 trucks going out every day, I learned a lot about how to scale a business, how to build a business from zero. And I thought when I sold it, here I am, I'm thinking, I know everything there is to know about business. I felt like almost like I could conquer anything. And I thought, well, I'm going to take some time off, and I retired. I took like a year off, and I got bored, and I thought, well, I'm going to start the Uber for lawn mowing, because I saw what Airbnb and Lyft and Uber and at that time were doing for these real world interactions. And I thought, an app needs to exist for this industry that I know. And I thought it would be so easy. All I would need to do was just pay some development shop to build it and release it and just be off and going. And we would just have some huge company in a year and a half or 2 years. And boy, I didn't know what I didn't know. It was almost like naivete as an asset. We built what we thought Greenpal should be, and it was a total failure, total flop. And my two co-founders and I had to learn the hard way is like, okay, well, if we're going to be in the technology business, we're going to have to learn how to build technology. We're going to have to learn how to build software. So we taught ourselves how to build software from scratch, just through online classes and things like that. And as I was building Greenpal, I started to see like, wow, if I knew everything that I was learning now in my last company, I could have had a company that was twice as profitable with half the people, because I started seeing ways that you can implement technology in any business, because basically we were building the technology to make the lawn mowing business run smooth. And so a homeowner is able to come onto our app, put their address in, and order lawn mowing services from a reliable lawn care contractor. And so building all the technology and all the screens for that started to open my eyes like, wow, it doesn't matter if you're a dentist, a hairdresser, a construction company. It doesn't matter if you're a restaurant. If you knew these skills on how to build software, you could build the best construction business in any city, in any state, with half the people and be twice as profitable. And so one thing that I talk about in interviews is thinking like a technology company, thinking like a tech startup in your business, no matter what you do. Because I think in a matter of 5 to 10 years, the idea of tech startup will go away. Every company will be a tech startup. Every company will be a technology company because that's the way we're going. People expect that Amazon, Uber experience. And that's one main thing I've learned building the Uber for lawn care to now over 300,000 customers and almost $30 million a year in revenue.
I love that, Brian. It's interesting. I've met so many entrepreneurs. They have these great ideas of building these apps or these products or services that are run through apps on phones. And they don't realize how difficult it is at times. If you get the wrong contractor to build the app, you might have a timeline of 6 months or a year, and 2 years into it, you still don't have an app.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are many, many juicy lessons that are learned. So tell me about what are some of the strong points of a technology company that they have that you're not seeing in your traditional service-based businesses, that is important to really be able to scale your business profitably?
Yeah, the good thing about technology, if you're a tech startup, is that you usually only have to solve problems one time because you can look at what causes a problem and look at the technological solution to solve it. So for us, making an experience really, really, really smooth for ordering a lawn mowing service, there's a million things that can go wrong. Grass was too tall. It rained that day. Fence gate was too small. They let the dog out. The guy's equipment got stolen that day. His daughter was sick. His truck broke down. You name it. There's a million things that can go wrong. And so every time something goes wrong in this workflow, we would follow this methodology called the 5 whys. You would ask why 5 times. And so, for example, the problem of it rained that day. And so why didn't the customer understand that it wasn't going to be mowed? And why did the contractor not know to reschedule? How do you deal with that? Well, it rained that day. In the normal world is, hey, you look outside, it's raining, you call the person manually and you let them know, hey, I'm not going to be able to show up. Or maybe you don't, the technician forgets, or maybe they did come out and mow and did a crappy job and it was wet. Things go wrong. Well, in the technology world, the problem of it rained that day is, well, we have technology that tells us it's going to rain tomorrow. And so we can look at that and let everybody know 12 hours in advance and say, hey, there's an 80% chance of rain tomorrow. It's probably not going to happen tomorrow. So we're going to reschedule you to the following day automatically. And so now the contractor understands that he's not mowing on Wednesday, he's mowing on Thursday. And the homeowner expectations are already met. And it already happened automatically in the background with technology. Nobody had to look at it. Nobody had to call anybody. Nobody was disappointed. And so that's just one example of like a million things that can go wrong where technology at the root cause can fix it before it becomes a problem. And so if you're in the technology business, you can solve problems that way rather than just beating your head against the wall, the same problems every day over and over and over again. And that's one of the things that was eye-opening to me when I started building Greenpal. I was like, this is much harder because we're building software, but at least I don't have to deal with the same problem 10 times every day, day in, day out, because that really can make running a business not fun. And so that's one of the differences between a tech business, a tech forward business, and a traditional, just rolling up your sleeves and gutting it out type of business.
I love that. So really taking a look at your analytics as a business and looking at your trends and then creating processes that when that instant is triggered, like in your case, 80% chance of rain means that it's probably going to be wasting somebody's time to send them out there and they're not going to show. Creating those controls in place so that really you can stop that from happening. What other positives that are in technology businesses that are really strong controls or strong processes that are not in service-based businesses that really should be there?
Yeah, everything from getting new customers to understanding customers' expectations, to executing on what the customer wants, to making sure that the customer's happy, to making sure that the customer comes back and buys again. Everything from that whole funnel of what I call get, keep, grow So getting new customers, keeping them, and then growing that business for referrals or more business can all be dealt with technology. So everything from how do people find out about us? How do people come to learn about our services? So digital marketing, Google AdWords, Facebook AdWords, Instagram, and then capturing, onboarding what that customer wants through a digital interface. And so they don't have to call somebody or they don't have to drive down to your office. So a digital self-serve interface is what customers want these days. And then managing whatever it is they want in terms of capturing all those things through, maybe they can upload pictures of what they're looking for, or maybe they can take a video of what they're looking for and upload that, a self-serve system, and then executing on that and making sure that they are happy in terms of a follow-up. It can all be done digitally. And whereas the follow-up, let's face it, in most businesses usually doesn't happen. I mean, people listening to this, do you really call all of your customers 2 or 3 days later and make sure they're happy? And do you really check in with them 3 weeks or 2 months later and make sure that they're happy and ask them for a referral? Do you actually do that? Maybe you do it every now and then, but do you have a system in place that does it automatically like a machine? And that's how you make more money, you service more people, you keep more customers with less people if you had a machine that can do all of these things. And then, hey, listen, this is really, really tough, but you can look at one little piece of this workflow and look at how you can implement your own technology or something off the shelf to make that happen like a process, make that happen like a system.
I love it. And so, if everybody is talking about labor, right, and with the great resignation and not being able to find the number of people, when you empower your customers to actually do the work for you, right, have them take a picture of the spot that they're not happy with so that it goes back to the vendor, right, have them scheduled through the app so they don't have to call a person, right, and automate things more, then really you're not going to need to have as many people, right? And so you can still scale, but now you're empowering your customer. I had an interesting experience. I went to Sam's Club probably about 6 months ago, and I went to Sam's Club and I had my full cart with me, and I got in line, and the lady said, "You know what? I'll give you a $25 gift certificate if you just download this app right now and scan your groceries with this app." And of course I was like, okay, well, I'm in a hurry, but fine. I mean, $25, I mean, that's a lot, for like Sam's Club. And I literally checked myself out. I didn't have to stand in line.
Awesome.
And they scanned my receipt, right? And so suddenly Sam's Club needed one less teller, right? Because I had my card already programmed in there because I buy online all the time, and now they need it less tellers. So technology is amazing. So one of the things that I see with people when they're implementing technology, right, is finding the right vendor that can do that programming for them. So like they may go to Fiverr or they may go, online to find somebody. And I'll tell you, more often than not, I find that a lot of people have headaches with it, right? Because, technology, I always say, I'm a big Apple fan. And, one thing that I like about Apple is they test it before they release it versus Microsoft. They fix it along the way. They fix it every single week. And, as a business owner, we take a lot of pride in our work, right? And we don't want to be fixing it every week, right? We don't want to be making people's systems crash, because of the update, and all their other software has to follow the update that we made to correct the mistake. How do you go about choosing the right vendor so that you can set your customer up for success and a happy experience?
Yeah, the reality is if you're going to self-build all of your own stuff, it's going to be hard. It took me 3 years of really getting in the trenches of understanding how this stuff works, literally teaching myself how to write software, and my co-founders as well. So you can go all the way to that end of the extreme where you have somebody on staff that is a software developer who is using off-the-shelf SaaS products and stitching them together or building your own stuff. And that's like an extreme case, which if you're willing to commit to that, could really help you build the best construction company, the best remodeling company, the best home cleaning service, the best landscaping company in your market. So that's one way. Or you don't have to go to that extreme. Just look at certain steps of the customer journey and look at the best product out there in terms of software as a service to implement at that stage of the game. So for example, like I went to the dentist about 2 weeks ago, and I go to the dentist and first off, I got to sit in the waiting room for like 35 minutes. Well, why is that the case? They're scheduling products that can help balance that better, to where I shouldn't have to do that. And so that kind of irritated me. And then the lady comes out, and there's like four administrative people there, and they hand me a stack of papers and a ballpoint pen. They said, "Hey, fill this out." And it's like, you already have my name, and you already know my history. And I got to fill out like 5 pieces of paper and sign 9 different things. And the reality is, there's software that can handle all of that. There's software where they understand who you are, they understand all, and you could have texted me a link the night before and said, "Hey, jump online real quick, e-sign these things, consent to these things, and your appointment for tomorrow is 9:30. We're going to be a little busy, so you might show up at 9:45. We can take care of you then." There is a software solution that you can buy off the shelf that can make that experience happen. So if I owned a dentist company and I'm doing like $1 million a year in sales, and I'm pissed off because I'm not making the money I want to make, and I have to hire administrative staff all the time, and I want to take myself to $2 million in sales, I would look to create the best check-in experience for my customers, and I wouldn't stop until I did that. And I wouldn't worry about anything else. Wouldn't worry about getting new customers, wouldn't worry about reactivating old customers. I would literally spend a year just on the check-in experience and could have the best check-in experience for my dental business in my market. And then once I got that nailed, then I would work on, okay, these people come for one cleaning, but they never come back. Why is that? Well, let's try to get that from like 10% to 20%. And let's look at like, how do we weave in everything we've already built to now reactivating the people that don't come back. And I would spend a year or two on just that piece of it until I got that right. And then if you look at the entire get, keep, grow workflow and just make that better and better and better with your own technology, if you're ambitious enough to hire software developers and build, or just through weaving in off the shelf software products that communicate and talk to each other. If you spent 5 years doing that, you would have a completely different business that's more profitable with less people.
I love that. That is a really great breakdown of really how to implement that, because I think a lot of us entrepreneurs, we're naturally those quick start drivers, and we want to implement overnight, right? And thank you for giving us that realistic perspective that it's not a 1-year thing. It's okay that it takes 5 years. It's okay that you're chunking off just certain parts of the business, that front end first, that's customer facing, and then getting back into the operations and tweaking that software to be stronger. I like the fact that you talk about, stop trying to reinvent the wheel, right? If technology is not your forte, right, and it's not your gift, then maybe start with that off the shelf box software, right? Find that off the shelf box software that's going to tackle your issue, and then implement that, and then grow it from there. Those are amazing tips there, Brian. So Brian, when you're looking for off the shelf software, first of all, where do you find it? And how do you know that you're actually selecting the best offering for yourself?
Yeah. So the first thing, if you go to trade conferences or for your business, so using the dental business for an example, as cheesy as these conferences sometimes can be, a lot of times you can get exposed to other people in other markets that are running similar businesses, and you can just chop it up with them, ask them. And what you'll find is the majority of people are dealing with the same frustrations as you. They're still in the 1980s, 1990s, and they're not thinking innovatively. And then so that can do one or two things. They can reinforce your beliefs. They can reinforce, okay, well, I'm just going to keep doing things the way I've always done them. Or it can help you understand that, hey, there's an opportunity here. If I can really think innovatively in terms of the end-to-end experience for my customers and how I can use technology to do that, I can really create a better company. And so if you keep talking to people, particularly at conferences or through online groups, there's a huge Facebook group for everything, and just ask them what they're using. That'd be step one. And then look at these products and test them out. Literally, just do a test run for a month on each one, and don't put all your customers through them. Just manually crank 4 or 5 customers a week, and then you use them. Another thing is that one of the ways you understand how to improve your customer experience is to be your own customer. So literally, you sign up for your own business. You can secret shop your own business. Literally call into the dental office and set an appointment, or send a friend through, and literally map every touch point and how you can make that better. And you can say, no, you know what, this SaaS product is not a good fit. And that's one thing that that derails a lot of businesses kind of innovation is they try one and it was a bomb and they're like, well, that was stupid. We're going to keep doing pen and pad and phone calls and voicemails and because that works. And I'm not going to waste my time trying to implement a seamless experience. And so understand it's going to take a year and you might try 2 or 3 or 4 solutions. But the good news is that these days, you don't have to sign a year contract. You don't have to install some box in your office. You literally can just sign up for a subscription. If it sucked, cancel it. And just do that over and over and over again until you find the one where you sign up as the customer and you're like, this is great. This is so much better than what we were doing. And now you can then begin to roll it out to everybody and make adjustments as you go. That's just part of the process of going from pen and pad, emails, voicemails to Instacart, Uber, Amazon. Like that's how you go from here to here.
I love it. So stop being hard on yourself. Stop thinking that you're going to get it perfect straight out of the box. Test, right? Test and experiment until you find that right product that works for you. That's going to make your customers happy. Now, Brian, tell us a little bit about Greenpal. Tell us about Greenpal for those, because I know us busy entrepreneurs, right? Another one of the great things of increasing our joy and scaling is by being able to get more personal time, right? Get more personal time in our lives and not have to come home and start our second job, right? And Greenpal sounds like an amazing solution of not having to come home and like get your house in order. Tell us about Greenpal and how it can help some of our entrepreneurs gain more time and gain more profits.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Greenpal is like the Uber for lawn mowing. So rather than cutting your own grass, you can pay somebody to do it. And believe it or not, trying to find somebody to mow your own yard is a pain in the butt. You got to call like 10 or 20 people to get maybe 2 estimates, and then you hire one of them and they don't even show up, or you do hire them and they do a crappy job. Greenpal solves all that. You pop your address in, you get 5 quotes back, you read reviews, hire the person you want to work with. They come out and take care of it for you, and then you just push a button, it just happens. And these days, to your point, we don't have to go do our own grocery shopping. We don't have to mow our own yard. We don't have to run down to the store and grab dinner. We can literally just pop a button on our phone and all these things happen. So we can buy more time for ourselves, for our family, or maybe work on our business. If you look at your high leverage time, it's probably doing things like what we're talking about, reinventing your business, thinking systems, thinking processes. That's high leverage time. Don't waste time doing low leverage things like going to the grocery store or mowing your yard or waiting in line to get for takeout food. You can literally get all these things done in a snap to where you can have more free time and spend more time doing high leverage things. So yeah, anybody listening to this doesn't want to mow your own yard, check it out. It can help you.
I love that. So entrepreneur stewardship, right? We're all given 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, 365 days in a year. I don't care who you are. You don't get a second more. And right. So you want to leverage your time, right? If you can be doing $500 work, an hour work, $1,000 an hour work, don't do the $10 an hour work, right? Give that to Greenpal. Let them do the $10 an hour work. I love that. So Brian, how do our listeners and our viewers, how do we contact you? And before I want to go into that, one of the questions that we always ask our viewers and listeners is, if there was one piece of advice that you could leave our viewers and listeners with, it can be personal, it can be business, what would that one piece of advice be?
Yeah, one thing I like about entrepreneurship, business ownership is like it's a dichotomy of having a big goal, having a big vision, having a big strategy. Maybe you want to have the biggest company in your market, but then also it's thinking and acting really, really, really super small. So a lot of business ownership, a lot of entrepreneurship is doing the little things day in, day out, and they begin to compound. And so going back to our point of reinventing your business from the inside out as a technology company, it's a lot of things really, really, really that are small over and over and over again over a long period of time. So it's like we said, trying those 4 or 5 different pieces of software and not getting discouraged when one of them is a flop. It's really looking at 5 customers this week, and not maybe the 500 you serve, but maybe the 5 that use this new workflow, and really trying to analyze, did they have a good experience or not? Whereas you're trying to, you're going to get overwhelmed with, well, what's my referral system look like, and what's my retention system look like, and how do I make the office look better and make the reception area look better, and then how you're getting overwhelmed with all of these things, when in fact it's like do the small things pick 2 or 3 things at a time, work on those, execute on those, and it begins to compound. So it's big vision, but then it's also really thinking and acting very small over a long period of time.
I love that. And amazing advice. Too many people, they want it today. It's that, my way right now.
Right.
And it's the little actions, right? Whether it's building wealth, whether it's investing, right? I did the math when I was like just out of school, that $30 a week, can equal $1 million by the time you retire.
Yes.
It's the small actions that get you where you're going. So that is amazing. Advice there, and just not to feel discouraged when you don't see the big movements, because it's the small movements over time that compound to get you where you want. Just like software implementation, as you say. Brian, so how do we contact you? How do we find you? How do we work with you? And how do we reach you?
Yeah. So anybody listening to this doesn't want to mow your own grass, or if you're a lawn care contractor, you want to check it out to grow your lawn care business, just go to greenpal.com, sign up there. And then anybody that wants to reach me, I spend most of my time online in terms of Instagram. So anybody can hit me up there. Brian M. Clayton, just drop me a DM. I'll hit you back.
So definitely reach out, get Greenpal, get some more time and more money in your pocket, because you'll be focusing on your zone of genius. And definitely follow Brian for more tips on growing your business just the way he has. Thank you, Brian, for joining us today and sharing your wisdom.
Susan, thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.